Okay, guys, we have the Oilers versus Stars reaction coming up right now, and State of Origin, the series I was explaining about on that video. We had game one last night. I wish it was more memorable for me. I'm a big Queensland fan, which are the Maroons. So, State of Origin is Queensland versus New South Wales. Two big rugby league states. It's a 3-game series. If a team wins the first 2 games, they've won the series, they still play a third game for pride. This was not the start I wanted. Honestly, it was a tough watch. Now I got to relive it with you guys, but I'll do my best. It's only 4 minutes, so it's a quicker highlight because there wasn't too much to be excited about from the Queensland side of things. But let's have a watch, and I hope you enjoy it with me.
Origin 2025 is underway.
So the first hit-ups, traditionally, look at them all swarm on him. There's a penalty here for a hand around the player's head. It's Origin, mate. Let them play on. But anyway, they used to let a lot more go, but, you know, it's reffed like a regular season game these days. For better or for worse. Most likely for worse.
He pushes away Tino. Carrigan comes in. And 2 Titans in amongst them as well in Tino and Fotowaker. He's dropped the ball, Mitch Barnett.
After the held call, Mo Fotowaker strips the ball, which is a penalty.
So in this situation, the referee had called that the Blues player was not doing enough to control the ball. It was a loose carry.
2 Titans in amongst them as well.
But in rugby league, I know in hockey you can get one coach's challenge. In rugby league, the captain can make a challenge. You get one challenge. If you get it wrong, you lose that challenge and you can't challenge a call for the rest of the game. If you get it right, you retain your challenge. So New South Wales, they're right on this try line in prime attacking position. They challenge this.
Tino and Fotowaker, he's dropped the ball, Mitch Barnett.
And they win the challenge because he's got hands all over the ball there.
After the held call, Mo Fotowaker.
So that was a good challenge by New South Wales.
Captain's challenge is successful.
So they win the penalty and they took the 2 points here, which is an interesting decision. Being right there on the attacking, but
Short side attack.
it worked out for them.
He's broken free of Nana. He gets it back to Mo.
So just to explain, they have an option there to get a fresh set of six tackles on the line to try to break and score potentially 6 points, or they can choose to take the kick directly in front and secure 2 points.
New South Wales 2-0.
Oh, by the way, shout out to the crowd here. It was almost a record crowd. I'm pretty sure they said there was only 72 seats below their all-time record at this arena, and I believe it's 59,000 were there. So it was a big atmosphere, and it was in Queensland, so it was a Queensland home game.
South Wales 2-0. Here's a short side attack. Angus Crichton. He's broken free of
Busted through the first tackle. Only got a hold of the shorts to stop that breakaway.
Enormous defensively.
Now they have to,
Off to Payne Haas. Back to Cleary. Looking for an open.
a little basketball pass. Now that Queensland defensive line's all over the place here.
It's a spectacular way to open the try score.
We can go back and look. This is just a shambles from the Queensland line. So this is the 5th tackle. If he gets tackled right here on this spot, they have to hand the ball over. So the objective is to get the ball as far down. Obviously, if you could score, that's always the objective. But the objective is to get the ball as far down the end as you can, so then the other team has 6 tackles to come back. Everybody, I think, was expecting a kick here. This is New South Wales kicker, but instead they choose to run the ball. And I think that's what breaks up the line here.
Back to Cleary. Looking for an opening.
And this is just a shambles. Like, you've got a player doing a 180 here. He's an edge defender. So he's trying now to get back. Because of that, the other winger has had to come in to try to shut this down, which has just left a huge opening.
He fires it to Crichton. Crichton for the corner. Across to
I mean, he ended up with 4 defenders all focusing him while Lomax is free on the edge. So well done, New South Wales, on that first try.
spectacular way to open the try scoring for the Blues. Lomax with his 4th Origin try in his 4th game.
Yeah, great footy, running the ball on the last.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to say. Like, he, in my opinion, the hammer here, he's a great player, by the way. Very quiet last night. That was the main theme of the night, was Queensland's big players. Most of them were very quiet. He he needed to go trust the inside defenders and just shut down the outside edge. Even then, he still probably would have scored because there's just too much space. But
Yeah, great footy, running the ball. On the
well done to Crichton, that player there, for bringing in all of those defenders to him.
Cleary, Moses.
Now, that's just too good.
That is glorious football by New.
That's just too damn good. That is a great try. The hands of Latrell Mitchell here, to look at the speed he catches and passes in one motion. It's really hard to do. Look at the velocity that pass comes out. That is elite skills. Watch the speed that he gets this.
Cleary, Moses.
All in one motion while he's being tackled.
That is glorious.
So that's a really good try.
South Wales in the acrobatic put down by Brian.
He did it in the air before he hit the ground.
world's best players playing together. Special things happen.
Cleary, away to Edwards. They've stripped
Another mismatch on the edge there.
for Zach Lomax.
You see why I'm saying as a Queensland fan this was hard to watch? I mean, it's just too easy. Just misreads defensively. Big ones.
Special things happen.
Cleary, away to Edwards. They've stripped them for numbers, and it's a second.
And it's in fact, if you look at it, it's the same player. This guy here, it is the best players against each other. So they command in a bit of respect. This is the same player that drew the 4 defenders before. Watch how they're all gravitating around him. He's a dummy. So many players got sucked in to his run, trying to shut that down. So Queensland got a lot of work to do before game 2.
And it's the double pump.
As he possibly could without giving away a professional foul. Cherry Evans! Oh, they flew above them but couldn't hold on to it.
He's appealing.
Now, this was really interesting.
That he was taken out by Brian To'o here.
The contact is
So when you're contesting a catch, you're allowed to, you can both make contact with each other as long as you're both trying to catch the ball. You cannot play the player. So if one player is trying to catch it, as Xavier Coates, this player here was, you're not allowed to tackle him in the air. You're not allowed to target him. You have to be attempting to go for the ball. So this was a really interesting
By Brian To'o here.
penalty here.
the contact is prior to the contest, denying him a fair chance. In our opinion, this is a professional foul.
By the way, it's definitely a professional foul. The commentators were, well, the New South Wales former legend commentator was off his head last night. It's pretty clearly tackled in the air. But because this is a professional foul, this player now, it's a professional foul because it's a scoring opportunity. He was denied a chance to score. Because of that, that player now goes away for 10 minutes. So instead of 13 men, they played with 12 men, New South Wales. And what that does is it stretches the defensive line. But it's really clear, like, have you ever seen anyone try to catch a ball like that?
In our opinion, this is a
So,
professional foul. We have a decision.
I think there's no argument about that being a professional foul.
With 12 men.
Now, I'll tell you something really interesting about this, which I've never heard of in all of my years watching NRL. So, because the penalty, the 10-minute penalty, took place as halftime happened, it takes about a minute for him to take this kick. Okay, they've got to set up the ball, he's got to line it up, blah, blah, blah. That minute came off the sin bin. So even though they weren't playing, he actually only served 9 minutes. So they got an extra minute out of this. Just something I'd never heard of before.
Oh, that's a
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people knew about that. So that's the first points for Queensland. So a very forgettable first half.
Brian To'o, 4 minutes 40.
Way down.
Coming back on the field. Queensland, they've got to nab some points down here. Oh, it's not a great pass, but it's a great outcome. It came off the boots of Ponga. Oh, he's going to be pushed over into the stands. Oh, they've ruined it.
So this was a huge opportunity for Queensland here. The pass goes errant, but really what should have happened here, he gets caught up in the tackle. As long as his arm, the ball carrying arm, doesn't touch the ground, the tackle's not complete. So these New South Wales, these Blues players, as long as the arm's up, they can keep pushing him out of the field. So that's what happens here. These two players get under his arms don't let his upper body go down to the ground. So he needs to get to the ground here. He tries to get outside to create an opportunity, but it was never really there. What he needs to do is get low so that he hits the ground, but instead they hold him up. And because the arms never hit the ground, they get the ball back. And that was a huge opportunity for Queensland. So, oh yeah. So, New South Wales get the ball back. This is the first tackle after this. A Queensland player makes a special play to get the ball back. And it ends up being the first Queensland try.
Wow, what a response, Tomo. And all the Queenslanders, they're up and about now. A huge roar from the crowd. Xavier Coates in the corner. That was a big tackle.
He got under the ball, which dislodged it up in the air.
The Blues on the doorstep. Cleary, he's handled the ball on 4 plays in this set. He kicks back towards Lomax. He takes it in one hand. He's got 2 tries tonight.
Yeah, this one was crazy.
It's still the last according to the referee.
Somehow he gets a pass out. And another score for New South Wales.
How has he summons that? Cleary. No.
He just goes for a field goal because there's no real reason to. They're well in front, but it doesn't hit.
Terry Evans, Din, second receiver, floats it over the top. They're going to score. They're going to score.
The touch is
There was a little bit of a chance, but the pass went floated forwards.
New South Wales won.
So it was a really forgettable game for Queensland fans. There's definitely going to have to be some adjustments and changes for game 2. A lot of the people, if you're new to the channel, I'll be addressing hockey fans a bit because a lot of my viewer base is hockey fans. I've been learning that. A lot of people say when I watch the highlights, you don't get to see, you miss a lot of what happens with the game, obviously, because highlights are so short. One of the things that really happened with the game here was through penalties and their really good defense. New South Wales dominated the first half. What that does is it empties your gas tank. There are no lines in rugby league. There's no offense and defensive team. Most of these players will be playing 80 minutes, full 80 minutes. So Queensland had to defend so much more. It was something like 40% more tackles, 30 to 40% more tackles than New South Wales made in the first half, and that takes it out of your gas tank. The only way that Queensland started to get back into it was in the second half. They had a lot better discipline to start. So they had a good first 10 to 15 minutes, and that was then the fatigue levels sort of evened out, and we got a bit more of a competitive game for a bit, but New South Wales were just too good. So yeah, disappointing one for Queensland fans. Let me know what you thought of the game below. The highlights, as you always say with the hockey, doesn't encapsulate everything that happened. And let's hope for a more competitive game too, and a Queensland win. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks when Origin returns. Peace.